So that talk about that, and then also you gained attention, a lot of attention with your best-selling book, Skin and Games: What Sex Work Taught Me About Love. So that's the second part of the question: is what did sex work teach you about love?
Mhm. Oh my God, another interview. Wow, yay. So, yes, I mean, the circumstance of my sex work have been incredibly privileged. I mean, I worked as a sex worker from 19 to 21 in Berlin. I had my coming out as an ex-sex worker or sex worker in Berlin, and it went fantastic. My family, my friends, everybody was there. So I'm really, really privileged in terms of no moral judgment, um, no loss of friendships, etc. So it's really,
Good.
really a blessed experience, which is of course extraordinary. I'm aware of that. Um, and Berlin is a very, very good city for exploring the own limits, the own identity, the own aliveness, also destroying old concepts from the last generation or the parents by using sex. I mean, using drugs, maybe. I'm really a coward. I'm like, for drugs, I'm like, no, I think I would die. So I'm just too much a coward for drugs. I needed something else. So I used sex work. And it perfectly worked because it really destroys, of course, the expectation that normally a society has for young women who could go to university. And in Berlin, I feel there is a huge scene where people feel pretty safe with transsexuality, of course, homosexuality. It's such a relaxed field around, and I really, really love that. So I learned I can breathe better in this city when it comes to testing the freedom of sexuality. And to some extent, nowadays, I could say what sex work taught me about love, for example, but it's more like what sex work taught me about life. And I would translate that to how Berlin uses the tool of sex and sexual identity and sexual exploration for testing life. It's not so much sex is about sex work is about sex work, or a client goes to a prostitute. It's humans craving for aliveness. We come from a highly traumatized and traumatizing collective culture and past. We have been coming from that for 6,000 years, and we are craving for breaking open. And we are using paths of energy that might work. And what has a lot of energy? Sex. Brilliant. What has another whole another world of energy? Taboos. So sex work, ooh, taboo. So let's work as a sex worker. It just works. I'm not promoting sex work. I'm just saying overcoming taboos and limits of the culture is something incredibly potent when it comes to breaking free from old paradigms. We have to leave the space that is just official and normal in order to shift paradigms. We have to get our hands dirty. We have to be silly. We have to fail. We have to risk it all, because that is how we destroy enough of the old stuff so that the new stuff can get up, can be created on its own, or can be created by life itself. So I'm aware of the fact that maybe my book also was a bestseller because it was about sex work, and an ex-sex worker writes about the brothel. And I loved writing about that because it's so many sweet stories, and my colleagues were the sweetest women on earth. Oh, I love them. We'll always love them. And at the same time, I'm through with this hypnosis that sex would be necessarily a super interesting thing,
Hmm.
or cooking potatoes would be a super interesting thing. It's like whatever makes you feel orgasmically alive, whatever makes you feel ecstatic. Because if people are embodied, they are orgasmic, they are ecstatic, they are alive. When people are ecstatic, again, they stop destroying this beautiful planet. It's just people who experience aliveness have no more reason to beat up the world around, or their neighbor, or their whatever, make up their next enemy. compare themselves with somebody who is prettier, all of that, it's just a trauma symptom. So it's again that the path of energy is not about fixing your belief systems, etc., etc., etc. It's not psychotherapy. It's let me show you a way how to be thrown back into the ocean of aliveness, and there everything that's too old for you nowadays will be washed out of your system.
Yeah, I love